Alrighty, there we go. Welcome into the Pillow Talk edition. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. It is the second of two streams that I typically do each and every day here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. First one, I call that High Noon. That comes on at noon, 12 p.m. That's topics, that's headlines, that's current events, trends, anything that people are thinking about, talking about, or just have going on. That's what we discuss. It's basically a cheat sheet. It's just a little bit of everything that you need to know moving forward throughout your day. That's Monday through Friday at noon, high noon, and that's just me. Then I come back like 2 hours later. We do that for 2 hours, and then I come back like 4 hours later, and we do this. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk. There he is. Look at him, James Parker. And this is more conversational. This is more, did you hear about, as opposed to being utilitarian. How are you, James?
Oh, I am well. Good to be back. Glad to be here. How you doing, Pugs? All that good stuff. I promise we're not going to start the show with some sad family drama that winds up with crying in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. I didn't see that coming. Suddenly we were just there. We found ourselves there.
Not to say like it was improper or,
That was real. That was real.
It was compelling. It was like, I don't know. As a not fully formed human, it's always interesting to see people with like full developed emotions, deal with life the way they deal with it, because I don't have that, man.
You're like an anthropology student when you watch somebody actual cycle through the realm of human emotions. You're like, oh, really? They got one of those gears. I don't have one.
Yeah, that's what that's like. Yeah, a fully formed human.
All right. Well, I got a question for you. I want to start out right now with a question. I was thinking about this earlier today because there was a news story and I watched it and I went, wow, that seems really great. All right. So bear with me on this. So what if we talked, okay. Are you a big stray dog dude? Like, do you believe like you get a new family dog, go down to the pound, get yourself a shelter dog, adopt, or because there's a lot of people who are very militant about that.
Yeah, I'm not very militant about it. I do believe in it, but not strongly. I have a dog and it's a rescue dog. And when I was getting a dog, I'm like, we're not going to go down to Petland and pay $2,000 for a new husky or whatever. Part of it's just me being cheap too. But
yeah,
I can understand there's a compelling moral argument for it. Sure.
Yeah. I think it's look, people, here's what I've always said about this issue. A dog is not like a car. You buy a car, you get a new car in 5 years. The dog's going to be around like 10, 12, 13 years. It's going to be a member of the family. It's going to be real. It ain't disposable is what I'm saying. It's kind of a major family acquisition, a dog, right? Especially if you have kids, because that's going to be their dog growing up. And it's a whole different psychic sort of thing. I mean, that has to do with the soul. It ain't like a car. So my problem is that, that being the important decision that it is, I kind of want what I want, here's the kind of dog I want. Can I go to some dog lab and can they make me the kind of dog I want? Because it's going to be, but I also feel like, everybody loves a tramp dog, right? Everybody loves a hobo dog. Go down there and get yourself one of the most lovingest, sweetest little shelter dogs ever. But here's the thing yes, there are some no-kill shelters in those places. They promote themselves, but like the counties and stuff like that, those are not no-kill shelters. Those big giant ones like the Dallas County Dog Pound or whatever it is.
They kill like 200 a day.
Yeah, they kill those dogs. Those dogs are the vast majority of dogs in shelters. No matter how much we, maybe get a dog, go to the shelter. No matter how much we say that, there's still a whole bunch of dogs. It's a problem,
dude. Like 90% of them are going to not only be put down, but then they're going to have their heads chopped off and sent to a lab for rabies or whatever.
Yeah, it ain't good. It ain't good. It's not a good situation. So unless you save them, they will probably get put down. So I saw this story today. It came out of San Diego at the San Diego Zoo. A bunch of stray dogs got loose inside the San Diego Zoo. And of course, because they're dogs, you can't just keep them. They were jumping into enclosures. Like there was like 3 stray dogs in the silverback gorilla enclosure, and the dogs were just chasing the gorillas around, and the gorillas were going nuts. The gorillas like the gorillas were chasing the dogs, and they were just like little like little mutt dogs. They're little mutt dogs. These were not like any great example of, any particular breed.
Did you see this video? Because this sounds like great video.
Oh yeah, here I'll show you.
Oh man, has to be adorable stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the kind of stuff I like. I can watch this all day.
All right, here. Well, we'll just pull up the news story because I think this was presented as like a local San Diego. Oh no, here we go. Okay, hold on.
At the San Diego.
Oh, hold on. Let's get that restarted. All right. You know what? I wasn't expecting to show this, but you're right. We should probably show the video just so people get an idea of what I'm talking about here.
Well, because I would like to see a stray dog chase around a couple gorillas any day, any freaking day.
Here we go.
All right, so Leslie just saying it was one dog.
Nah, they say there's a bunch
inside the gorilla enclosure. Several zoo visitors captured the scene and just
Unexpected scene.
All right, so is it showing?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it.
To say the least, at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park this weekend.
yeah, check this out. A dog got trapped inside the gorilla enclosure. Several zoo visitors captured the scene and just how close the animals got to each other.
He's a
Fox
good
5's
boy.
Jamie Chambers is joining us live now with more on exactly what happened here and how they got that dog out safely. Jamie.
Yeah, it had a happy ending because everybody's smiling. Everybody's like giggling about this story.
I can't believe this is just a wild one. All the way around,
wild,
you get
Jamie.
domestic animals, you get wild
Where's it,
animals,
Jaime?
and you're not sure which one is which at one point because it was the silverback gorillas that were called out of the cage and were successfully removed. And then they had to go get the domestic animal that was just running around like crazy. Dog coming down here, guys. It's not something you see every day. A dog being chased by a silverback gorilla. After several near misses, the young pup finds a little bit of distance, and zookeepers at the safari park recall the gorillas to their feeding pens for an extra special treat. Then the San Diego Humane Society comes to the rescue.
When I showed up into the gorilla enclosure, he did look very nervous.
Look at that guy.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I made a
Franklin
wrong
the
turn.
gorilla made it clear he wasn't going to let this dog, no matter how friendly, anywhere near his family. See this one down. Safari Park staff say this pup was one of 3 loose dogs that ran into the park, but was the only one flirting with possible disaster.
Dog probably felt like he was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
What are you doing in here?
Officer Samantha Clark from the San Diego Humane Society says
All right,
she's been
we get the story, right? So you get the idea basically what happened. So 3 dogs apparently jailbroke out of wherever it was. They started roaming around the zoo. One of them found their way into the gorilla. Now that's just there's a bunch of video. There's a bunch of like regular amateur video of people who were there that's circulating online. So there's like other things that you can see, but that basically gives you the idea of it. So here's what I'm thinking. That seems like fun for everybody involved. That sounds like that was fun for the dog. The dog, you get a little like, here's what I'm suggesting. Why can't we just let some like stray dogs roam around in zoos? Why not? Doesn't that seem like that might be fun for everybody? And the animals that are in the gorillas, dude, every time you go to the zoo, the gorilla is just sitting there, just looking back at you. There ain't nothing going on. That day at that zoo, that gorilla was chasing a dog around its enclosure. That's about as much action as I've ever seen out of the gorilla exhibit at any zoo that I've been to.
Didn't you see like a gorilla fight?
I saw a gorilla. It's funny because I do love the gorilla exhibit tonight. I saw a gorilla die and I saw a gorilla fight. Yeah, on two separate gorilla. So I guess maybe you're right, but it does seem like 9 times out of 10 I go to any exhibit and it doesn't matter. It's just an animal sitting there. It's not excited. There's nothing fun happening. Everything is predictable. It's just looking at me, looking at it. It's just like seems terrible. Meanwhile, you got these stray dogs. That dog's running around. He's got rocks to climb on. He's got, waters and
Well, here's what we want all the exhibits to be. We want it to be like the otter exhibit. We want it to run around and be playing with other otters and then go swimming and then do cute little human things with its hands and, eat food in front of your face while it's sitting on its butt and, just doing stuff.
Do anything other than masturbating. They do a lot of
So
that.
So Jeff has the animal Thunderdome idea: two animals enter, one animal lives. That would spice up the zoo for sure. But you can't have them shrinking their own population like
Yeah,
that.
I don't want that. I want it to
But
be
here's
an
the
even
deal.
playing field for everybody.
Right, but when you have animals who are carnivorous and you do feed them, why don't you make that part of the excitement? When it's time to feed the lions, why don't you just throw a baby gazelle in there and watch them go, watch them
I
chase
don't
them
wanna see
down?
that. I don't wanna see that.
I
I want
do.
I wanna see a bunch of stray dogs frolicking. I just wanna see a bunch of stray dogs running around chasing bears, chasing gorillas, maybe messing with some giraffes, and it doesn't have to be unfair. Like, I get it. Like, okay, you don't wanna throw, like, a little cute doggy in with, like, a tiger, right? Because the tiger will catch the doggy, you'd think. A cat, But, you throw a dog in with, you throw a dog to mess with the giraffes, that'd be alright, you
Well,
know?
what if we had just something that was cousins, like an orangutan versus a chimpanzee?
I don't know.
Ju-
Can they be together? Can different kind? I've never really thought about this. Like,
no
can you
idea, but I think I'm on
let's
this. I'm
find
definitely onto
out.
something. I'm definitely.
Let's find out. Yeah.
I know, but look, I don't know. My idea is great. Jeffrey idea is great. But I mean, when we live in a world that doesn't even allow cockfighting these days, I mean, I don't think we as a people can handle it. A bunch of babies.
No, no, I don't want animal fights. That's not what the point of this is. The point of this is that these dogs are kept in cages, and
No,
these
no,
gorillas are bored.
no.
It
Part of
seems
it
like
is animal fights. What are they going to do? Play Parcheesi? Of course, we want them to fight.
no, we don't want them to fight. If a fight breaks out, then that's fine and that'll be interesting. And then the proper authorities will break up the fight. But we do want to see them chasing each other around. I think that's good. That's
If
exercise.
they're only gonna play, yeah, that would be adorable. If there was like a gorilla petting a kitten, yeah, that'd be adorable.
Not
But
petting, not
yeah,
catching. Trying
but
to
but look. See, this is the deal. Al has a very big-hearted, empathetic, but naive take on this. Kids are watching. It's a nightmare for a kid. No, this is the real world. How on earth do you think hyenas get their meal? They rip a zebra to shreds, and if they happen to do it in front of your face, you're learning what the real world is like. Hey, kiddo, this is what the real world is like. We have a very Disneyfied view of nature, and it doesn't do us any good to think the Jungle Book means when you go get dropped off in the rainforest, all the crazy animals are just going to start singing along and dancing with you. No, nature is deranged. Almost everything in nature is designed to kill you, and learning that lesson is not a bad thing for a kid.
Yeah, I think it is. But, I'm evolved. And you've already stated that you're not. I mean, a Disneyfied view of nature? No, we've evolved. We don't have to live like that anymore. We can
Okay,
detach ourselves from the realities and the cruelties of the animal kingdom.
we got to snap people out of this whole thing that if you ever see a bear, you're going to say, "Get the bear necessities." No, the thing is going to eat you alive.
Yeah.
The thing's going to
How many
knock you over
bears do we
slack.
see on a
Start
regular
eating like
basis?
your stomach first before you're even dead, and you'll get to watch it pull out your guts. That's what real bears do.
Yeah, that's not
So
a real concern. That's not a real concern. Bears aren't really attacking people left and right every day.
no, they're not. They're not. But it's still legit. It's still natural. It's still science. It's still the real world. And
Mm,
I don't mind if my kids have to watch, to a bunch of hyenas on a zebra carcass. I watched it and I turned out fine.
yeah. Oh, so you say. Oh, God. Hold on. I got a little bit of hiccups going on here. Oh, James. Just in time for your intro. I'm trying to get over my hiccups. Oh, man. Please welcome to the Comfort Nest Lounge, James Parker. Ugh.
Thank you. Beautiful crowd today. Economists are reporting an increase in shrinkflation. That's like instead of inflation making the prices go up, the product shrink. But I noticed this yesterday myself when I bought a Two Musketeers.
Oh, gee. Sorry.
I went to a Four Guys hamburger. Maybe. According to a new report, 40% of you finished. According to a new report,
Hold on. I am not. You have no idea. I am so sick. The fact that I'm even here, I didn't do a noon show today. I've only been out of bed for like an hour. How are you? Oh, well, I guess you don't have allergies or anything like that, but how are
what's the
you
matter with
handling
you?
this heat? It has completely destroyed my head. My head, nonstop air conditioning has caused my head to turn into a block of concrete.
What? No, dude.
Yeah.
I went out and when it was 102 degrees yesterday, me and the wife went and played tennis for an hour, and then we went swimming. It was fantastic.
Oh, great. Good for you. Oh, okay, continue on. I still
All
got a little.
right. According to a new report, 40% of Mexicans are living in poverty, and 50% of Mexicans are living in the United States. Jesus Christ. In Rosenberg, Texas, a 63-year-old man was arrested for stealing $17,000 worth of bronze vases from a cemetery. Prosecutors say it's a grave offense. Oh, you hiccuped on cue. A 51-year-old British woman has had 150 plastic surgeries in the last 16 years. Doctors are warning that if she doesn't stop, she could end up looking like Madonna. Today is Flag Day. Congratulations, flags out there. It's widely believed that Betsy Ross sewed the first American flag, but that is not correct. She drew the pattern, but it was actually made in China. Happy birthday to former President Donald Trump, who's 76 years old today. Pug's favorite president. If you want to send him a gift, he could always use more hairspray. Because he uses a lot, like because this would come over. What'd you get him, Pugs? I know you're a big fan. Happy birthday to former tennis champion Steffi Graf. Tonight she'll be celebrating with her sister Polly Graf.
Oh my God.
Actually, she married a guy with the last name of Paper, so now her name's Steffi Graf Paper. Oh, you can just do that one too. And finally, happy birthday as well to boy George, who's 61 years old. He's got a new song out called Do You Really Want to Eat at Luby's? I don't want to say he's getting old, but yeah.
Man, these hiccups.
Typically,
Typically, I can beat them, but I don't know why I can't beat them today. I think it's because of all the other nonsense going on. I got fluids and I got phlegms. Oh, James, it's terrible. It is not good. Today is the Orange Menace B Day. What does that mean?
Donald Trump.
Today, see, I can't even. I'm so behind the curve. James, what do you got? You got anything? I got a couple of things. You got anything?
Well, why don't you just duck out of here if you're about to die? Because you're over there. You sound like you're on the verge of like the first fatal case of hiccups.
It's like I'm coughing. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of. I'm fine.
What is your deal?
I'm not doing well. That's what my deal is. I don't know.
That's really bad. Okay.
You never get hiccups when you're on the air?
No, I do, and it's awful. And the thing about hiccups is, depending on what your job is, 99% of jobs out there, hiccups aren't really that big of a deal. But if
No.
you're a radio host or like a TV news anchor or something, oh yeah, it's the huge deal.
They're
Biggest
big
deal in the
problem.
world. All right. Did I tell you about the Florida woman who married her stepdad and killed him? Did we go over that?
Nope.
Oh,
Tell me
well,
about that. Hi, Tiffany. I got the hiccups. Sorry.
Well, that's the whole story. We can just move on.
Okay. Really? That's it? That's the
No,
whole thing?
No, it's so okay. So this dude, he's like a high-powered NFL executive. Yeah, I thought we did this, didn't we? Didn't we do this last night?
No, not that I remember.
So he marries this chick, and her and her two young daughters and him move in. They're a new family, but just a few months after they had been together for years and years, and then like 3 months after they got officially married, she died of breast cancer. And so when the older stepdaughter gets to age 20, she starts dating her stepdad.
Oh God.
Well, I know that's kind of weird, but I think it might be true love, Pugs, because they end up getting married and they have 2 kids.
Oh God.
But then things aren't going so great as far as the legal record is concerned, because a few years ago there had been like a domestic violence call where the cops went out there and he hit me and she hit me first and all that stuff. So there's a little bit of that going on. There was rumors of infidelity or whatever. And so he he goes into a rage. He gets really drunk, and she comes home in the middle of the night from McDonald's. She has a McDonald's bag, and he just starts yelling at her and throwing crap at her. And it escalates even worse than that from there. So he like punches her, pushes her down, grabs her by her hair, and slams her into the kitchen island. We had an island in our old kitchen, but she slams him into that, or he slams her into that, and then starts choking her. So she opens a drawer and kind of fishes out a knife and stabs him in the shoulder, right? And so he lets go and she stabs him a few more times. And then, according to her, she immediately defensively stabbed him until he stopped and then ran into the bathroom, locked herself in the bathroom. Now, 11 hours later, there's a call to 911.
Okay.
Her side of the story is that she had been in the bathroom locked in there for 11 hours because she was too scared to come out because she thought he was just being quiet to fool her so she would come out and he would beat the crap out of her. But when the cops show up, the next morning, there's the dude still laying face down in a giant pool of blood. And some of it looked like you could tell there had been an attempt to mop it up. There was a mop with a bunch of blood on it. There was a mop bucket with some water that was kind of this translucent pink color. There were some cleaning products out on the counter. So, put A, B, and C together. And the cops are like, looks like you tried to clean up the crime scene before you called 911. And she's like, what? No. I called 911 and then I was just trying to clean it up. And he's like, okay, so there's like, you said this was a defensive move here, but I'm counting 15 stab wounds on this fella down here. That doesn't sound very defensive. But she was like, well, it was defensive. I promise. He wouldn't stop. And when he stopped, I stopped. And so none of it's adding up. But here's where he gets a little extra level of sort of Florida sick. They get to subpoena her phone records. And in the 11 hours between when she stabbed him and he died, and she actually called 911, she's on her phone scrolling through a dating app, meeting dudes.
While he was dying?
I think he was probably already bled out by the time this happened. There's no way of really knowing. But
well, look, here's what this sounds like to me. This sounds like she was in a bad relationship and the opportunity presented itself for her to extricate herself from the situation with some plausible deniability. It sounds like she was in a bad relationship. The guy's obviously an asshole. He married his former stepdaughter. All right, the guy is obviously there.
Hang on now. That one goes both ways. There's obviously something wrong with her because she married her stepdad. That's nasty.
Yeah, James, what don't you understand about the power dynamic? This is what they talk about the power dynamic. The stepfather is the one who should know better than to enter into a romantic relationship with the former child, who, even though, I don't think you suggested that he got into it with her when she was a kid, but it sounds like, she was grown up, at least 18 or 19. There's still a power dynamic there. It's her stepfather. The mother's dead. He's the one that should have known better. So he is the one from the get-go who I go, all right, you should have known better.
Sure. He definitely more so than a 20-year-old girl. But what you're explaining is not that she's not messed up. You're explaining why she's messed up. So you're not refuting my point. She is still messed up. He is too, definitely.
Well, does that go without saying? I mean, they're all messed up. She married her stepfather. That's a messed up kind of thing to be in.
Thank you very much.
What we're talking about is the situation that left one of them dead. And I think that she saw an opportunity and she probably took advantage of it. I do. Are you suggesting that you think that she was never at any point afraid for her own life? I mean, you described her being thrown into an island and her head bashed and being choked. Sounds to me like she had a legitimate concern for her own life to go grab a knife and just start swinging.
I don't know. I'm sure there could be a legitimate scenario in which she did fear for her own life, but there's also the sort of the counterbalance theory to where, he hadn't killed her before and they've been together for, decades now. And
let me stop with Jeff. Jeff says it wasn't a blood relation, Pugs. Like, what? Like, is that supposed to what?
It would be more messed up if they had been biological father and daughter. Absolutely. So Jeff's right.
Yeah, but what is that saying? Like, is that where the bar is? The bar is that if they're so he makes no distinction between a stepfather and a stepdaughter in that relationship, and that's those relationships are not supposed to be sexual. Those relationships are not supposed to lead to the mom dying and then him marrying the stepdaughter.
Well, apparently you haven't been surfing porn much lately because apparently some people are into their stepmom. What the heck is with those?
That's what I understand, and it has been that way for a while. Yes, it is the taboo genre of
Hey,
porn. It is
look, Tiffany.
apparently
Do you
very
remember this girl, Tiffany? See her commenting down there, Tiffany Vollmer. Do you remember her?
I know. Why do I know her? I mean, I know the name. Why do I know the name?
Because Tiffany, back in the day when I was on the Pugs and Kelly show, was getting us all those sweet guests from like The Bachelor and whatnot. She'd worked for Fox
There
or
you
something.
go.
Oh
Oh,
man,
I remember Tiffany. Yeah, welcome.
what a character she is.
All right, so you're basically just throwing a little shade at the woman because it does seem sketchy that she waited 11 hours, right? She wanted to make sure he was dead.
Totally sketchy.
Yeah.
Totally sketchy. Now, we can go ahead and say, well, yeah, he's the older one in the power dynamic and he should have known better, but he's not murdering anybody and she is.
She's
So
beating
you still
the shit out of her.
We don't know that. That's her cover story. We don't get his side of the story because she killed him.
Okay, so you're just see, you don't see anything wrong with just how you are jumping to one side over another.
No. I think I'm the one that's being neutral. I'm the one that's being
neutral. Okay, so you don't believe that he slammed her head into the island. You don't believe that.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying we don't know. We know her side of the story. What is she gonna say? I came home and he gave me a back rub, so I stabbed him. Of course, there's gonna be some abuse, and it's likely that it's true, but we don't know.
Okay, so you're looking to convict her, just based.
She's a murderer.
Just because she's a murderer and you don't know and you're not going to investigate any further. This sounds pretty hope. This sounds like he's a dirtbag. He started knocking her around and she defended herself. The sketchy part is that she waited 11 hours. That if we could just drill down on that, we might be able to come to a conclusion. But
add to the sketch the dating app, and I think that is profound. Also, and look, there's another detail that
circumstantial, but okay. Got your time somehow.
Dating app though. There was also one of the detail in the 911 call. Originally, she waited 11 hours after the incident happened. She called 911 and she said her husband had a heart attack and then accidentally stabbed himself and bled out.
Oh, okay. So now she's blaming it on his health. She's we got to know, does
she changed her story though. Then she changed it to he beat me and slammed my head in the kitchen island and I stabbed him, total self-defense. Look, in some of these cases, the neutral position doesn't mean I think the guy's right and the girl's wrong or the girl's right and the guy's wrong. The neutral position, I come to the conclusion that both of these people are absolute compromised dirtbags. And not that, who cares if another dirtbag dies? But in a situation like this, it's like when Iran and Iraq got into a war. Who you cheering for on that one? No one really. I don't know.
No. All right. Well, there you go. That was, by the way, it turns out that you had done that on your Sunday night show. That's where you had done that story.
Yeah. I do remember doing that. I just wasn't sure if we did it last night too.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I got something I wanted to do here. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Did you see this thing that happened on Sunday in, I want to say, Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho? 31 members of the Patriot Front. Yeah, Coeur d'Alene, whatever.
Coeur d'Alene.
Did you see this story from Sunday about the Patriot Front members?
I only saw the headline, so no, I don't know what this story is about.
This story's incredible. All right, so on Sunday afternoon, some concerned citizens, FBI, ATF, called in to local law enforcement. Again, these were concerned citizens, FBI, ATF, just happened to be there. They called into local Coeur d'Alene, Idaho police that a number of men dressed in body armor were wielding shields and sticks and being loaded into the back of Ryder trucks. Okay. So, you know, the white trash troop transport vehicle of the 2020s. That's what we're seeing here. We've seen these with all I believe it was Black Lives Matters who utilized these first, putting like 100 black kids in the back of a U-Haul and then driving to a protest and letting them out. All hell breaks loose. Suddenly it's free shoes for everybody because the strip mall is burning. They were the first people I saw do this. But now this is the way it's happening. And so concerned citizens, FBI or ATF, who were doing surveillance, called the local police and said, we saw this. So they're on their way. So they're rolling down the highway, these like caravan of all of these U-Haul trucks filled with these dudes in the back. Very hot, by the way. This was the day of the big heat wave that was going through the center of the country. So probably a good 110, 115 in the back of those U-Hauls. They're all decked up from head to toe in their cosplay body armor and their little sticks and their, white pride and all that kind of stuff. And James, would you know it? They're on their way to some big pride celebration, some big pride rally. And they're all going to go there. And the plan is...
Is this not a white pride rally?
That's a white... Yeah, no, it was a gay pride. It was a gay... It's because it's Pride Month. They were going to start a riot at a Pride Month. And the local police pulled them over there on the side of the road, got them all out of the back, lined them all up on the highway. Oh, the pictures were hysterical. It was just all of these cosplayer dudes. But again, they were tipped off by a concerned citizen. But the truth is that these groups have been monitored now for the better part of the last year by federal authorities, whether it's the ATF or the FBI. And they just saw them out in the middle of whatever town they're in. They all met in the town square and then boarded everybody into the back of these riders and these U-Hauls and then took, just like, there's no fear. Like, they didn't do it in a garage. They didn't do it in a warehouse. They just did it out in the open. And the police went, maybe we should stop them. So they stopped them. They all got arrested. Nobody made it to their little pride riot that they wanted to start. But here, I got the pictures of these guys, and I thought it might be fun for you and I to just go through the pictures. We've got a rogues gallery, and maybe we can, I don't know. Hold on, where is it? I'll find it for you. Maybe we could just take a look at some of these guys and figure out their backstories and what they're all about. I like to do these kinds of things. So what these are the mug shots from all 31.
Oh, hang on. Your mom commented. You need to respond to your mom there.
My mom. Oh, James didn't like that. Now I understand. James like, oh, his mama. All right, so I wanted to show you these guys, and let's just see what they're all about. Hold on. Let me, we'll find them. So these are the 31 dudes that were arrested. They are a part of a group called the Patriot Front. James, is that a group you're in? You involved with the Patriot Front at all? I'm not sure.
See, that's strange because I consider myself a patriot of some sort, and I like to think I'm at the front of something. But no, Patriot Front's not my jam.
Yeah. Do you hate the gays? I think that's one of the things. You got to hate the gays, and you got to hate blacks and stuff like that. Although, which is interesting, James, because for a white power organization, there's a lot of dudes in this group. Have you noticed that with recent groups that are being pegged as white power organizations? There's a lot of dudes in these groups that my grandpa would not have considered white. My grandpa would not have said that is a white guy.
Because for some of these groups, the outside labeling of them is intentionally extreme. Like the Proud Boys were called racist by a lot of people, but like the leader is like Enrique Tarrazio, so he's not a likely suspect for a white supremacist. And look, they can be bigoted in other ways, but when you always got to go read like what these groups are really about. Don't take anyone's word for them. Go read the bullet points, because if you want to get people to not like the Proud Boys or to turn away from them or to just think of them as like, you guys are total weirds, go read the bullet points of what they believe in. And for most guys, when it gets to the plank and the Proud Boys, what they believe in, one of them is they don't believe in masturbation. Well, I'm out. I'm a big fan. I like it. I like it when my wife does it. I kind of assume
it's not going to be good for membership drives.
No, and I'm out. I don't care if you guys believe in free market capitalism, and so do I,
Yeah,
or you
we
want to
don't.
restore
That's
the
not what they're about,
an
James.
originalist view of the Constitution, or
Again, not what they're
Western civilization. Look, none of that matters when you take out this spanking. That's just like, not only do I disagree with it, but that's too weird. Why do you care about the masturbatory habits of your members? Like, go
Here, all
ahead.
right, so let's go through it. Do you see this guy? This is Alexander Sisenstein. Okay, so I'm guessing that's the German Stein.
Sizenstein.
Yeah. He looks fine. Yeah, I mean, he looks like a normal guy. He looks like he's probably angry. That kind of thing. Any thoughts on Alexander?
I bet you there's a lot more mutant looking people than this guy.
Yeah. Well, James, it's funny that you should say that. All right, now this is Brandon Haney. Brandon Haney. Any thoughts on Brandon?
Yeah, he probably works the barbecue smoker out behind a rib joint, is what he looks like to me.
Brandon lives in an apartment with exotic pets. That's Brandon's got like a
Right. He's
snake.
got a tarantula or something stupid.
Look at that. He's definitely got a monkey. And James, he has taught that monkey how to cut hair. That is what's going on here.
I think another important thing is to pay attention to these guys' names, because these guys do have a tendency to have very white names, and Brandon Haney is kind of up there. Cameron Pruitt. Well, see, that's kind of racially ambiguous.
Yeah, it is. But doesn't he look like Hitler's version of the master race?
Well, Hitler would
Doesn't he?
Hitler would like him. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Hitler. This dude has a gimp suit. He has worn the gimp suit, and he will do anything for the fatherland. That's what he looks like. This guy's, but handsome, certainly handsome. All right, who else we got here? Colton Brown. Got anything on Colton Brown? He just looks kind of like your all-American kid that got twisted up with the wrong people.
There's no non-white people named Colton.
No.
And I say that because my first cousin has a kid named Colt.
Would you look at Connor Moran? Look at
Moran, huh? Is this your cousin?
No relation. You know what Connor Moran is, though, James? Look at this kid. All right, so he's just the Grubhub driver who got caught up with this. He doesn't know what's going on. He was just delivering food when everybody was getting put in zip ties. And now suddenly he has no clue what's going on. Poor Connor.
Look, I don't want to say anything nice about these guys, but usually when you go through a mugshot profile of one of these groups, their eyes are like real far apart, or they kind of look like Sloth from Goonies or something.
Yeah, there's some
like inbred.
They're coming. Who do we got here? Connor Ryan.
Wait. There's two Connors? Dang.
Yeah, there's Connor Moran, who was the Grubhub delivery guy, and then this guy. This is
Connor Ryan sounds like a radio name because it's two first names. And
no, dude. Yeah.
Are any non-white guys named Connor? Is there any black fellas named Connor?
Yeah, I think there might be. I think we'd have to look into that. But
that's a maybe.
That's a thinker. Connor Ryan, whereas Connor Moran was the Grubhub driver, Connor Ryan was just the guy looking for his food. This was the guy that was they're not supposed to be here. They just got in the wrong place at the wrong time. They were doing a food order, and now they're with these guys. He looks stoned, and he just wants his nachos.
Yeah, and he kind of has the same problem I'm going. I have dark hair, and I have really dark eyes, and I have a Mexican grandfather, and I don't think I would make the cut for the Patriot Front.
I don't know if he's making the cut
Dakota
Tabler.
What is this county? Kootenai County?
That sounds
Cooter County.
He looks like he's trying to figure out if Caitlyn Jenner is hot or not.
And he's not sure.
He's not sure.
He doesn't have his final answer.
He's just all right, who else we got here? This is Derek Smith.
That looks like a normal dude.
Yeah. And you know, he wouldn't be his origin story is he doesn't like his mom's new boyfriend, and he just fell in with the wrong crowd. And now that's his. He's not that bad. He's not bad. Devin Center. What do we see here? Do we have anything? Okay. Devin Center. Any thoughts on Devin Center?
Well, see, now we're getting away from face symmetry and the spreading of the eyes. So, there's a hint that maybe one of their grandparents were cousins or something.
He seems like he's been there before. He's unfazed by the whole booking process. He seems very, very calm.
But he doesn't look like overt. Like he still looks to the left and right before he says the N word just to make sure the coast is clear. And this guy doesn't. This guy just says it.
Look at him. This is a good one, right? This is what we want them to look like. These are the ones we're not afraid of, because these guys will inevitably blow themselves up in a car bomb plot, right? I mean, this is not someone. He may have been on his way to break up a Rainbow Pride event, but this dude is on the spectrum for sure.
Well, I also feel a lot better when they do look like mutants, when they look like absolute freaks, because I like having the punchline at the hand to where, even when I try and consider the idea is if white people are the master race, these are the people I would use as the counterexample. No, clearly we're not. We've got Dylan Corio.
Dylan Corio here, looking sharp. Never kissed a girl. Forrest Rankin, Garrett Garland. See, these guys look normal. Oh, this guy, Graham Whitsome. See, my grandpa would not considered him a white guy. my grandpa would have.
His name's Graham.
I know, but so what?
Well, that's a very white name. You get like an extra couple of white points if you're named Graham. I'm James. I lose points for my name, James Parker. There's probably like 10 James Parkers listening to this show.
I'm just saying.
Black James Parkers.
He doesn't look like my grandpa's definition of a white guy. James Johnson does. James Michael Johnson. We got a James Johnson and a James Michael Johnson.
I don't like all these Jameses in there.
Look at this guy. This guy's like 5'5". He's always getting DUIs. This guy's always drunk at the bar. They always got to take care of him.
He talks about how he knows martial arts, but he
doesn't. Yes, he does. He talks
just watch some YouTube videos and Jim Cotta.
Right. Oh man, look at this guy. This guy.
Yeah, Jared, were you crying right before this picture, bud?
This is he's part of like a special Patriot Front dark op too. They went back in time and they like got a bunch of like 1950s dudes from Brooklyn, and they I don't know, they're reanimating them for a super army.
Well, doesn't he looks more like Balkan, like he's from Serbia or Macedonia or something.
He looks like I don't know. He looks like he's from Shananatomy. It's Operation Shana Nazi. That's what's going on here. He's unfrozen from the 1950s, and although I do now that I'm starting to see a little Eastern European. Okay, but I'm really distracted by sort of like, what do they call that? A duckbill haircut. The 1950s kind of pompadour in the front.
Oh, like he's in a doo-wop cover band.
Or he's a Shana Nazi. That's what I'm saying.
What is that called? Yeah.
I don't know. All right, there we go.
The Brian Seltzer haircut.
That's Jared Boyce, Josiah Buster.
Well, Josiah has a name that raises some flags. Like you're either like a religious fundamentalist or in the back of a rider van heading to the Pride Parade in body armor. I can see that one.
Yeah, that's good. We're starting to get some interesting dimensions though with the cranium.
And a little more of an overtly white name too.
Yeah. But you'll notice like the waterhead is starting to expand. We're starting to get less of a jawline. We're starting to see genetically. We're starting to see somebody that doesn't really have to fight for their meals.
And the furthest down the inbred trail, you'll notice is the underbite. That's where you're at final stages.
Yeah. Because that means you've been fed and you've been pampered and you're soft because your jaw doesn't need to be as developed to tear and rip and fight. That's where you start to get the water.
Your parents or cousins.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, look at this guy. Now we're really talking
droopy, right?
Yes. They used the forceps on this kid. When they pulled this kid out of the mom, look at that head. That is an almond-shaped light bulb head. Look at that guy.
Yeah, right. It looks like butternut squash looking head.
Whoa! Look at this guy.
Now we're talking.
Kieran Morris.
Now we're talking.
All right, here's Kieran Morris's deal. Kieran Morris was just looking at him with the tweezed eyebrows and the perfect hairline and all. He was way down for this trip to the Gay Pride Parade today. He was, in fact, James, He even offered to go early. He wanted to go Friday night just to scope it out and then go back Saturday just to make sure everything was fine. And then, yeah, he would show up on Sunday. Look at him. He's definitely interested in what's happening at the Gay Pride Parade, this guy.
Well, and he's been tortured with the fact that he wants to be part of the master race, but he has a black first name and a semi-black last name. And
Yes.
you're right. He's probably the only one going to the Pride Parade in the back of the rider with condoms in his pocket. Like, Kieran, what'd you bring condoms for? Nothing.
He's got the gear. Like, he's got the undercover clothes at home. He was like, I can wear my leather suit. You have a leather suit? You know, this guy.
They'll never see us coming.
This guy, totally. This guy. Okay, never mind. All right. Well, look at this guy. All right. Oh, what's up with that dude? Hold
Well,
on.
that he's definitely not gay because the hygiene's just not there.
Yeah. Like this guy was into it. He was into it. He's got nothing
Larry.
else going on. If we didn't get Larry Norman here, Larry Norman was going to go shoot up the mall or something. Larry Norman looks like he's troubled. Because they didn't do that to his hair, James. That is hair that hasn't been combed yet today. That is not just
when you're wearing your tactical helmet in the back of a rider when it's 100 degrees, your hair is going to get. He probably had his hair pristine when he left the trailer this morning.
You're probably right. That is helmet. That is helmet head. Look at this. This guy is not a white guy by my grandpa's standards. No. Okay, I'm sorry, Michael Buster.
Michelle.
Oh, it's Michael Buster. Okay. What else we got here? Oh, look at this guy. What? James, doesn't this look like if they took a caveman from like I don't know.
They're like, we found this skull in a cave in France. It dates back to 23,000 BC. Yeah,
and this is what he would look like today using computer generated technology.
Artist recreation of. Right. Well, look. So he has the big flat bell pepper nose, and then it just totally disappears between the nostrils and the eyes. It just flattens out into the middle of his face. Like his face is almost straight across.
Yeah, that's been broken though. That bridge of that nose, he's been punched in the nose a lot.
Yeah, there is no bridge. This is all collapsed.
Yeah, that is.
So, but this is what I'm talking about when the eyes start getting really far apart. And look how far apart like the eyebrows are. Like you can fit your whole fist between his eyebrows. That's suspicious. And also some of those, these facial features, that doesn't look like sort of classically Scandinavian white like Hitler would have preferred.
No,
Hitler likes you all to look like Dana Perino or something.
This dude's an American Indian. This dude's got some American Indian in him. He might have some Latino.
Good call. I was thinking Polynesian, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking probably because of Idaho. I'm thinking there's probably some native blood in him. Yeah, he ain't a white man. Oh, jeez, this guy. Look at that. Oh, this guy looks like trouble, doesn't he? This guy looks like he's the guy that starts the fight.
Kind of ethnic as well. That fella,
Richard Jessup.
Richard.
This guy, he looks like a police sketch. He looks like an actual human version of a police sketch. Like if you did a police sketch and then that police sketch turned into a person. Doesn't he? He's another one that looks like a computer animated, recreation.
Yeah, or kind of like the sketchy janitor at the beginning of the movie that they all want you to think did something shady, and it turns out he was innocent, and we were all just unfairly judging him because he looks so stupid.
Not a white guy. Sorry, my grandpa.
That's a white guy.
Nope. Robert Whitted. I don't care what his name is. That is not a white guy.
Okay.
Of course, you have to understand, my grandpa didn't include Italians or Greek people as white people. So, he had some pretty stringent rules.
Are they?
Not according to my grandpa. Nope.
Steven Tucker looks kind of normal. Oh, yeah. That's
This guy he has made a serious commitment to an overall vibe. This guy, he's got, that wherever he lives, there is a Nazi flag somewhere on the premises.
A Confederate flag at least. But he's also the kind of guy's like, black people can't be quarterbacks. Right. He said that before. They don't have the medical capabilities to hang up.
He said that before. And he's got dogs. They are not licensed or leased, and they're just roaming around his property.
I don't think I've ever had a licensed dog, but
Yeah. Well,
I
no,
have shot beer cans.
you don't have a dog with tags? Every time you get a dog tag that's licensed.
Oh, I thought you meant like it had like kennel papers or whatever.
No, it means just, it's got a tag and it's got a number on it with this, it's got its shots. You've never
My
had a dog
dog's got his
that's had
shots and it's got a tag and he's
yeah.
chipped.
Well,
Okay,
that means
okay.
that's a legal
Sorry,
registered
I was taking offense to because I've shot beer cans pretty recently.
and you have a Nazi flag in your garage.
10 of them, yeah.
This guy's just caught up in some bad situation.
Oh, but Winston is such a white name.
It is Winston Durham. Sure is. All right, that's them. That's them. That's, ladies and gentlemen, those are your 31 arrested Patriot Front members who are on their way to a pride event in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
I expected worse.
Start a big fight.
I
Yeah, there's not
expected
too many
worse.
bad ones. Yeah, well,
So Coeur d'Alene is a magnet for people like that, for the white supremacist, neo-Nazi, whatever version prepper kind of subculture that's been going on. I believe that was like the area that the old Ruby Ridge controversy happened on. So I'm not surprised about that. I'm not surprised about that at all.
Yeah, that's kind of my it's kind of my blind spot with this part of the country. That's I don't really know much about. I don't know. There's probably about 1,000-mile swath of land there that they have motorcycle rallies there and they carve faces in the mountains. I don't have much interest in that part of the country. I don't. There's no reason. I'll go to Yellowstone.
I see the way you describe that part of the country. I actually enjoy having a big chunk of the country like that, because if anyone's going to try and invade us, they're like, well, what are we going to do about like these idiots in Idaho? They're like, just forget it. We're not going to land the boats. Just forget it.
Yeah, they are sort of a nice buffer between our cities. Like if anybody is going to it, they'll have to go through the fine people of Des Moines before they get to Chicago or St. Louis.
And what a pain in the ass it is if you're China. They're like, all right, we have like a 4 million man standing army. We can conscript another 100 million and just land them all in California right now. They're like, we would never make it to Washington. We would never make it. We would have to walk, on foot or on vehicles and tanks or whatever. We cannot make that 2,000-mile drive from California through all these idiots to get to the part of the country where we would actually be able to have an effect. So these guys are very useful, even in their sort of inbred ignorance.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Hold on, I'm sorry, I just got a little distracted by something over here. I apologize. I'm not doing real great.
Well, you stopped hiccuping for a second.
I did. I got rid of my hiccups, but I still have this. Okay, we're not closing out just yet, but I have that ready. You have anything else you want to do today? I want to just go to bed.
You want to just go to bed?
I want to just go to bed. I know we got like 6 minutes left.
We talked about the Florida lady who married her stepdad and then killed him. We just did a hot or not with the latest group of white supremacists who all got arrested by the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so what do you think about the NBA finals here? Because Rebecca told me something on Sunday that I've put way too much thought in the last 48 hours. Okay. And Rebecca is saying Steph Curry has to be considered a top 5 player of all time. And I loved having the discussion with her, and I think you'd be a good guy to run that by too, especially since we only have a few fleeting minutes here.
Yeah, no. That just so he's better than Kobe. So he's better than Magic.
Well, no. So the counterbalance to this is if he's not in the top 5, who's above him? So, okay. Everyone knows Michael Jordan. Everyone knows LeBron. Yeah. And so Kobe, that's probably most people's top 5. And so is there 2 more that are still better than him?
Yeah, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, without a doubt. Then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Then you've got Bill Russell. Then you've got oh my God, yes. Then we have to get into the players that never won championships, who are just absolute studs. I think Steph Curry, if he wins another one, then he'll definitely be in the top 10. And he did change the position. He changed. He came about at a time when the NBA was changing, and he just happened to have a skill set that fit in very nicely. A great organization, stayed with the same I was going to say the same team, but they talent shopped. They brought people in left and right. Yeah, I just don't think I just don't think he's top five. I don't. I
All right. Look, there's an interesting case to be made that he is the greatest shooter, just pure shooter in NBA history. He has the most 3-pointers made in a regular season. He has
right.
the fewest games it took to get to 1,000 3-pointers. He had the fewest games it took
Yeah.
to get to 2,000 career 3-pointers. He's the first player to win the MVP award with a unanimous vote.
Mhm.
He has the highest scoring average for any player that's in the 50-40-90 club, 30 points per game in the
Yeah, but again, see, now this is a completely different league. I mean, all of those statistics that you just threw out that lauded him for his 3-point shooting ability, those were not statistics that were taken before him. That it's do you get what I'm saying? He
Well, yeah,
brought
because
in
it's
that era
impossible.
and that
Yeah,
style of basketball. Guys were not trying to set 3-point records before Steph Curry. Steph Curry was the guy that came and basically changed the league into I mean, now you see people making half court shots, you know? I mean, the league
he's one of them.
Yes, yes. And so, of course he's got all of those records for 3 points, but for how long will he have them? Because he
Okay,
has
so
changed the game, and now that there's kids coming in underneath him playing his same style of game, how long will he have them? I
okay,
am not an anti-Steph Curry guy. I'm not. I just don't think he's a top 5. I just think that
I
Wilt,
think
Kareem, come on, Michael, Magic, Kobe, Bird, come on, man. I mean,
well,
there's so
you
many
can
top
easily
5.
say he's a better shooter than Magic. He's a better shooter than Larry Bird. Listen to this. Listen to this. Last year, he broke the record for the most 3-pointers in the calendar month of April. He made 96 3-pointers last April. He
Yeah, I don't
broke
know that you I don't
the
know that you can easily say he's a better shooter than Larry Bird. I don't
the previous record was 82. He
uh,
broke it by 14.
in a different era playing a different style of game. That's not as impressive when you add in that it's a different era with different kinds of athletes playing a different style of game. It's not that impressive.
All right. So Wilt Chamberlain was, before Steph Curry came along, was the greatest scorer in Golden State Warriors all-time history. He
Mhm.
passed him. And he passed him at like age 32 or something like that.
Yeah, but Wilt Chamberlain never played in a league that gave you the and ones quite to the degree that they do now, and he never played in a league that had a 3-point shot. So, half of the shots,
Right? So yes, he is a guy that's taking advantage of the evolution of the game
Yeah,
more so than
which is why statistical numbers can't be used in this argument because it's a different game. It's a totally different game. You're talking about I mean, I guess by my own argument then that you might be able to make a case for him being somewhere in the top 5 because he did change the game. The game has changed now into the Steph Curry game. Same way that, Magic and Bird changed the game. The same way Wilt and Kareem changed the game. The same way Michael changed the game. So maybe you do. And he's got the championships. He's got the trophies. A lot of people say, yeah, but what has he won? Well, he's won a lot. So, I don't know. I'm coming around. Maybe I'd have to really look at this. It's top 10 for Steph Curry for sure. I just don't know that I could bring myself to saying top 5.
so he had 157 consecutive games with at least one 3-pointer.
Hold on, we didn't even mention LeBron.
No, I threw him in there. I threw him in there at the very beginning. You got because everyone starts with Michael and LeBron, and
Michael,
rightfully so.
LeBron, Magic, Bird, Wilt, Kareem.
No, you've got to consider him better than Wilt.
I don't know. I don't think you need to consider him better than Wilt.
He's about to have what would this be? His third or fourth championship if he wins this year.
That's fine, but I don't believe that Steph Curry is as dominant and feared in his time as Wilt Chamberlain was dominant and feared in his time. People didn't want to go up against Wilt.
I mean, you could say that, but he scored more points than
Okay,
Wilt
but
Chamberlain in less time.
There's more points to be scored though today. So again, they didn't have the 3-point shot when Wilt played, and they didn't call fouls on big men the way they do now. So Wilt Chamberlain probably would have gone to the line 10,000 more times had he played in this era. That's 10,000 more points that he could sink, but they didn't because they were just big men. And
No,
they
and
got
look,
around.
I agree with you in the fact that if we were playing a basketball game in 1968, Wilt Chamberlain might be more valuable than Steph Curry, but we're not, and Steph Curry is
Yes,
more valuable than Wilt Chamberlain if we're playing by the rules
of
of
today,
today.
probably.
Right.
Yeah.
And I totally agree that it's impossible to make an apples and apples connection between some of these statistics on these guys. But here's another one that's just incredible. This guy just has a list of statistics that are off the charts.
Okay.
So when you talk about the most 3-pointers in a single season in NBA history, Steph Curry has the number one season, 402 3-pointers. That was in the 2015-16 season. Number 2 is James Harden with 378. So he already beats that dude by 24. Seasons number 3, 4, and 5 on the list are also Steph Curry.
Yeah, but 10 years ago, if a player had taken as many 3-pointers as Steph Curry takes today, he'd be benched. He wouldn't be out there.
Not if he was making when he set that record of 402 in 2015, 2016, he was shooting 45% from 3-point land.
All right. It's an interesting argument because I initially pushed back on that, but now that you're talking me through this, I'm like, I guess
That's why it's bothered me too, because I pushed back against it, and then I went and actually looked at some records. And you know what? I just hadn't been keeping up with basketball the last 10 years like I had before that. Life had gotten a little more complicated and busy for me, and maybe I'm sleeping on this dude.
Yeah. All right. Hey, James, turn around. I got him. I got him. Wait. Oh, wait. You want to plug something?
Oh, yeah, Florida Stories. Go check out the podcast wherever you're already listening to the podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart. I'm probably in your mailbox right now. I'm in your wife's closet. I'm all over the place. Find Florida Stories. Thank you.
Florida Stories on Spotify. All right, thanks, folks. We'll see you tomorrow at noon for high noon. I'm going to go to bed. Love you all. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the greed. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest.